think you know something about witches, do you? Well, answer me these questions 13. And if you are correct, you are the witch queen or king. And in this video, we're going to dive deep into the lore of witchcraft, of spells, of real witches. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let's get right into it. Hi, Adam here, and welcome to the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message. So we're going to play a little game of fact or myth. And question number 1 is there such a thing as real witches, fact or myth? Well, duh. If you read the title, then you know that that is fact. And the word witch comes from a Gaelic term, Wicca, which means wise or wisdom. So modern witchcraft is really based upon an ancient wisdom tradition that honors the great goddess, and it's a multi-pantheon religion, so there is an honoring of the feminine aspects of deity along with the masculine, and there's an honoring of the cycles of nature. And it's really a beautiful path. Number 2, that witches are different from mere mortals, fact or myth? Well, that, my friends, is a myth. Anybody can be a witch. You don't have to have special bloodlines, although there are traditions like that. But if you practice the religion, you can be a solitary witch or you can join a coven. And a coven's like a development circle, but it's really a little bit more than that, because when you're in a coven, you really join as a family and you have each other's back and you grow and develop in your magical training together. So no, you do not need anybody can be a witch. So question number 3 is the temperature of a witch's breast is somehow lower than that of the average female. I cannot even say that with a straight face. Who came up with that expression? So by the way, we are on the escarpment trail on the eastern ridge of the Catskills. I'm taking you guys on an 8-mile hike. So I have a little surprise for you at the end if you make it that far. And I hope you're in shape. Well, I hope I'm in shape dragging the 63-year-old body up and down the ridge. But anyway, question number 4. Wicca is a religion, fact or myth? And I kind of explained above that that's a fact, that it is indeed a religion, and there's religious ceremonies. A lot of times the ceremonies are done in nature because we honor nature and so forth. So that's yes. And number 5 is, are there or is there such a thing as good witches? Well, hello, Glinda. The Wizard of Oz was so ahead of its time. Back in the 30s, you didn't hear a whole lot about good witches, even in the 60s or 70s for that matter. But yeah, sometimes we hear terms like white witches and black witches and gray witches. It's really, what's in your heart, not your labels that matters. But the witches that I've known and that I've worked with have been healers, they've been mystics, they've been very much the types of people that want to make a difference in the world and in the community. So yes. Number 6, male witches are called warlocks, fact or myth? That is actually a myth, and male witches are called witches. The warlocks were the crusaders that rounded up the witches to burn them. And that was a very dark time in history. For the most part, the early Christians got along with the pagans and thought by converting them that they were doing the poor heathens a service by converting them to their one God religion. But there were those that were killing the witches, and not all of them were witches. Some of them owned land, and they used the excuse of accusing these people of being witches to take over their land. And another interesting point of fact is that a lot of the churches in Europe were actually built over holy pagan ground where they did a lot of ceremonies and built a lot of energy. Number 7, witches are Satanists, they're evil, fact or myth? And that is a myth. Satanists worship the devil. witches worship the goddess and nature and love. And in fact, part of the creed of the goddess is that all acts of love and pleasure shall be my ritual. And that just acknowledges is that love, and we're spirits having human experiences and having human pleasures can actually raise our vibration and bring us closer to spirit. That's not gluttony or doing things inappropriate. That's just human, enjoying the human experience. So number 8 is spells work, fact or myth. And that is fact. Spell work is a form of law of attraction work. It's utilizing energy. Only witches use tools, candles, crystals, incantations to make their work even stronger and to fine-tune it. So there's actually a threefold law in Wicca that states what you do shall come back to you threefold. Because when you start to develop your abilities and you start to increase your energy through the rituals and the training involved in Wicca, then you're more powerful, and that holds greater responsibility. So if you do beautiful things for your loved ones and for the world around you, that good comes back to you threefold. But if you do negative things or manipulate others, karma is going to kick you right in the butt. Welcome to Echo Lake. This jewel in the Catskills requires a 4-mile hike up and down the ridge, so it keeps it pretty pristine, and this was a little treat I was telling you about. So before I go any further, if you like this content, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the bell icon, then YouTube notifies you when I release new videos. You can get it hot off the press if you want, and also when I do live events. I am introducing to the public for the first time my meditation Spirit I Am that is making a huge difference in people's abilities to shift to understanding who they are as spirit, having human experiences. And when you do this meditation, it locks into your subconscious and it allows your spirit communication to get a lot stronger. So that's on Spirit Mind Family. We'll leave information for you. So number 9, do witches, or I should say witches do ceremonies in the nude? Fact or myth? And that's actually a fact. Well, not every ritual, but hey. Number 10 is that do witches fly on broomsticks? Witches fly on broomsticks. Fact or myth? That's fact, actually. Well, fact with an explanation. And there's actually ceremonies that hallucinogenic plants are used, and there is an effect on flying on broomsticks. And there are legends and a lot of wisdom traditions, even the spiritualist tradition, has what's called projecting etheric doubles or bilocating. And just like Jesus walked on water, it is theoretically possible for witches to project an etheric double flying on broomsticks. So that's actually, believe it or not, a fact. So number 11 is that witches are always psychic or mediums. And that's actually a myth, although if you practice the traditions, if you practice and you develop, I'll put it this way, if you do ceremonies and rituals and practice, if you're not psychic, you'll develop your psychic abilities. And there's channeling involved in Wicca ceremony. There's a ritual called drawing down the goddess and drawing down the god. Number 12 is that witches tend to do their rituals on specific days or specific times. And that is a fact. There is what's called magical timing. And this is also part of law of attraction that's really not done a whole lot. And I'm going to do a separate video on this, actually, that if you swim with the energetic current, you're going to have a lot more success than when you swim against it. So understanding things like moon phases, the days of the week have different energies, different planetary energies associated with it, different times of the day, different times of the month, and different astrological events create different energies. So witches understand this, and they do their magic and their ceremonies and rituals during advantageous times. And number 13 is that Halloween is very special to witches. And that is absolutely true. It's a Celtic holiday called Samhain, where it honors death as actually the true beginning of life. So during this time of Samhain, the veils between the worlds are thin. So when witches do their ceremonies and their covens or whatever, they do spirit communication. They work with the ancestors. So there's 8 different Sabbats in the Celtic or Wiccan calendar. Beltane, which is May 1st, and Samhain, which is October 31st or November 1st, are amongst the 2 most important. And again, it marks the new year for witches because death is the true beginning of life. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and namaste, and I'll see you next time.